welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show. It's Espresso right here on SABC3. Now, our guest today is an extraordinary man. You've seen him on television, you've read his books, and he's considered one of Africa's most colourful modern-day explorers. Today, of course, is World Malaria Day, and he's currently on a humanitarian journey focused on malaria prevention initiatives. Now, this journey is a world-first humanitarian, 12-month, 9-chapter odyssey penetrating remote regions in Africa from its northern point in Djibouti on the Horn of Africa through Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, the DRC, Congo, Malawi, all of these places. And Mr. Kingsley Holgate is joining us today to chat about the wonderful work that he's doing. It's great to have him here in for breakfast, just after that very hot omelette, which is wonderful, by the way. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. I see you tasted it along with me, didn't you? You're still here. So
I'm still here, I'm still alive.
That's good.
But let's talk about the great work that you're doing. You are part of this, it's called the Great African Rift Valley Expedition, that is all in aid of fighting the fight against malaria. How did this all start?
Well, you know, it's a common question. Why are you supporting malaria as a sort of modern-day explorer? And the answer is quite simple. I've had malaria close to 50 times. In fact, recently I was in southern Sudan, and my wife, that's my Shawzy, Jill Holgate, she sort of stood over me like that. I was on a drip, and she said, "That's enough. You've had malaria far too many times." So our whole family, traveling most of our life in Africa, much like the early explorers, the thing that we've suffered from most is malaria. And it's like a thud to the heart when you get to a village, a remote village, far from any regular health facilities. There's a baby screaming, a mum crying, not knowing what to do. It's like 2 days ride in a dugout canoe to the closest clinic. And so we thought, with all the suffering that we have had personally, let's put our energies into fighting malaria. So we've had the pain, we've had the suffering, and now we can do something about it. And when you think that a life can be saved by a simple mosquito net. Wow. So it was a natural thing for us to do.
And so what is it that you're doing? I mean, you're going on this great expedition, you've travelled, you're halfway through now, you were telling me a bit earlier, but what are you actually doing along the journey?
A lot of our lives we spent up and down the Great African Rift Valley. Last year we had the huge privilege of completing every country in Africa. We had 5 countries left. We completed that, of course. We came back to that wonderful news that Africa had given birth to a brand new country, Southern Sudan.
Yes.
So we took our inflatable boats down the Nile River. We got to Juba just in time to celebrate after 30 years of war with 300,000 people and do some great malaria work. Mm-hmm. And then came this idea. We still have to complete, in our lifetime, the Great African Rift Valley. And of course, that's the largest scar that one sees from outer space, running all the way down through Africa. In our case, it's the Great African Rift Valley. It starts in Djibouti on the Red Sea. The Rift Valley comes all the way down from Jordan, comes down the Red Sea. You have to avoid the pirates, of course. You've got Somaliland on the one side, you've got Eritrea on the other, then you've got this big triangle that starts the Great African Rift Valley, and it's called the Afar Triangle. So we started there last year, and we're busy making our way down the entire Rift Valley. And our objective is to get to Mozambique before the end of October.
Yeah. And throughout this journey, you're going into remote areas, you're traveling, like you were telling me, with young, fit men who are able to get into these villages, and you are actually providing these people with the necessary equipment they need. They need nets for the children and the mothers to sleep safely in, and for them to not, get the disease, as you say.
Exactly that, and it's great fun. We don't sort of march in there, boys with our toys, he come die manne type of thing, not at all. Very often we'll arrive in a village late in the afternoon, settle down, meet the chief, meet the community head, talk about malaria, and
you educate these people.
Absolutely, and our target, of course, is we can't give nets to everyone. We just simply don't have enough. I'd love to say that we can, but it's all a matter of logistics and getting it all together. So we've targeted pregnant mums and children under the age of 5 in a campaign called United Against Malaria. So it's wonderful. Arrive in a village, speak to the elders. They know the names of all the mums. The mums arrive next morning. Out the side of the Land Rovers, a sound system, down comes a screen. We have a malaria educator who can educate the mums in their language. Can you imagine the fun? We encourage the xylophones, the marimbas, and
it's a whole stimulating...
So it's like a little community day.
Yeah.
The education, of course, we do a little bit of sort of like bush theatre. So you invite some volunteers.
Demonstrations. And
the mums will arrive with a sleeping mat, a kansi, put it down on the floor. The importance of tucking the mat in, the net in under the mat. The importance of, when drying the net, to dry it in the shade. How to wash it, how to care for it. Don't let the bloke put his cigarette through the net, and if he does, tie it up. Yeah. Don't use the net for fishing. education. And then to add to that, of course, a little soccer game for the kids. United against malaria.
You look like quite the soccer player, I must say. Now, of course, later on, you can stay tuned in because we're going to tell you how, just by having one of these, Mr. Holgate, along with his team, are doing some great work in fighting the cause against malaria. Great to have you in here.
Thank you so much.
Lovely stuff. Right now, though, let's take a look at, I think, the dog version of Mr. Holgate, a dog that's been all around the world, traveling dog. Liesel.
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.